Actually, I think I'm going to start here, but you can be at the front of your mat. And we'll do some circles in standing. She's always very different doing circles sitting. So feel where the soles of the feet connect with the floor. It's a great place to start. As you exhale, there's this landing that takes place. Connective tissue becomes sticky overnight. So when we do our morning practice, it's about bringing fluidity and silkiness to the connective tissue again. And we don't want to start our day running before we can walk, so by grounding and rooting, where we kind of claim our space, connect to the earth. So every exhale is an opportunity to do that. And then as you inhale, before we get into the circles, just think about your ribcage. Imagine it floating up away from the pelvis. And tuck the chin under so the back of the neck feels long. And just that subtle movement, the soles of the feet pressing down, the ribcage floating. Just notice for yourself what that does inside your body. Let your shoulder blades slide down your back. Let's give our hands a shake. So much accidental tension in our hands. Just give them a shake. And then let the arms come down to your side. And now we're in a good place to start some circles. So dropping right ear to right shoulder. Sweeping chin down to chest. Left ear across to left shoulder. And then coming up and over. And a second time. And then changing direction. See if you can hear the sound of your breath. You're breathing in and out through your nose. Some of us naturally will drop into Ujjayi breath, where you're feeling the vibration in the throat. For others, Ujjayi breath might not feel right. But whatever your breath is doing, just see if you can hear it. Starting to build a relationship with it, so the movement and the breath work together. And when you're ready, inhaling, shoulders come up towards the ears, rolling back and down. How are your clunks and clicks this morning, if you had any? And when you look at the anatomy and you see just how complex and intricate the collarbones and shoulders are, and all that passes through them in these tiny spaces, it gives you so much understanding of why you might sometimes get shoulder problems, why there might be some stress hidden there. I mean, it's a miracle of engineering. So these shoulder rolls are a really nice way to almost to say thank you to the complexity of your body. You don't even have to think about. It just all works for you as best it can. And then elbows circling. Inhaling as they come up and back. And exhaling as they come down. So the fingertips just rest on the shoulders. It's just the elbows circling. Like a different orchestra in my shoulders when I do this. And then if you have space, big arm extensions. Probably going to set you off. If I yawn, then I normally see a little sequence of yawns across the little squares. As we all catch each other's yawns because we co-regulate. That's why well-being practices are not an individual thing. When you do your personal well-being practice, you cannot help but have an impact on the well-being of the collective. So self-care was never really about self, although it was also about self. It always is about the ones you love and the way that you're supporting them. Okay, arms up high, fold the elbows, hold on to either elbow as they pull apart, hands draw towards one another. Just be sure the neck is still happy, head is free to move. And as you breathe in, let your tummy expand. And as you breathe out, draw your tummy back towards your spine. Leaning one way, keep the elbow high to give you height in the torso, and then leaning the other way. Elbow stays high. As you get to know what's going on in your side body. And then releasing your arms, taking them down to your side, taking them just behind you. Interlinking the fingers, pressing the hands away, opening up the front of the chest. And your gaze might automatically lift, your chin might slightly lift. Taking a few breaths here, breathing into your chest. And there will be little wriggles that you can do here to make this feel suitable for you. You don't need to look the way that I look. You can look the way you look. Quite nice to bend the elbows, bring the fists around to the right hand side. Breathe there. There goes another yawn, taking the arms back behind. And then bringing the fist round to the other side, and it might feel quite different. And then releasing, interlinking fingers, pressing the palms forwards. Drop the chin towards the chest, let the heart rock back. And this is where I always find a gazillion yawns. I think I have my storage space in my body for yawns is between my shoulder blades. So as soon as I do this, it's like the doors open and they all come tumbling out. Okay, and then releasing your arms. Have a little bounce through your knees so that you feel soft. Maybe take your weight from side to side. Starting to remember the fluidity, slowly coming back. And then we're going to fold into a forward bend, but let's actually bring hands to thighs and start with knees bent. And have a little wriggle around here. And then keep those knees exactly as bent as they are as you lay down your torso, bring your hands to the floor. And then you might fold your elbows and start to play with straightening the legs, but notice the relationship between the lower back and the hamstrings as you do this. I mean, more and more my yoga practice feels like the practice of an older lady, an older woman, as I become an older woman. But certainly after a week of this terrible cold and lying still, the practice is different again. It's always changing. It's never the same twice. Then release the hands to the floor, tuck the chin towards your chest, and just play with bending and straightening the legs here. I think we'll go from here into a classic salutation. Move to the front of my mat. So as you inhale, take a little half lift and then fold as you exhale. We'll do that a couple of times so you get the movement of the rib cage lifting as you inhale and folding as you exhale. And if you have lower back problems, then Mula Bandha is a very great support. So the lifting of the pelvic floor helps you. Okay, stepping, weight across to left foot, right foot goes back, dropping that back knee down to the floor. Hands come either side of that left foot as you rock your hips forward. And let's add a little bit of movement forwards and back here, feeling into how everything's doing this morning. And the right hand can stay flat to the floor as the left hand rises. And keep pressing down through that right hand and give yourself the strength to lift up out of the shoulder, out of the collar, so you're not collapsing into that bottom arm. You're really lifting up. Everybody looks amazing today. Well done. And then bringing your hands back down either side. This time let's bring the left hand, keep the left hand to the floor, and bring the right arm up. How does that feel this morning? And then bringing both hands down. Inhaling, both arms come up. Let's interlink fingers, bring hands to the back of the head, open the elbows wide. Lean your head back into your hands as you look up and breathe. Floating the ribcage high above the pelvis, so nothing is collapsing. We're giving space to each individual vertebrae in the spine. Inhale, the arms lift. Exhale, the hands down. And let's glide into a runner's stretch here. I'm going to do a very creaky runner's stretch. And again, it's the ribcage that moves. As you inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Can you hear the pendulum of your breath? That's what you're moving to. Okay, walking the hands forwards and stepping back into a high plank. And let's pause in high plank as we rearrange ourselves in a way that feels good. So the tummy draws in, the thigh muscles move up towards the ceiling, the heels push back, the heart moves forward. And the breath is audible and deep. Soften the knees to the floor. And then keep the torso strong, so we're not just collapsing the tummy. The tummy stays lifting up towards the spine. Elbows bend close towards us as we lower ourselves down. Roll our shoulders away from the ears and inhale as you come up. To maybe just a baby cobra. Exhale as you come down. I'm going to do that 2 more times. So the hips press into the floor. Back arches as you inhale. Keep the shoulders spacious. Exhaling as you travel down, and then doing a 3rd time. Hands stay pressed to the floor. Push down through the hands, sit back on the heels. Stretching arms out in front of you, forehead to the floor. And walking hands over to the right hand side, pushing left sitting bones away. And coming back to center. And taking hands over to the left, right sitting bone presses away. Forehead rests on the floor. Inhaling back to center. Coming up onto all fours. Let's take a bit of cat and cow. A really good opportunity to hear the sound of your breath. And tuck the toes under. Lift the sitting bones as you come into a down dog. And then have a little walk, a pedal through the legs here. Push even further down through the floor, through the palms of your hands. And get the tailbone even higher. Taking the weight to your left foot, inhale as you bring the right foot up. Let's bend that knee, swivel the hips and take a three-legged, I think it's called dog, a down dog with its tail wagging or something like that. And get the knee up high, tuck the heel in close. Inhale, back to a three-legged down dog. And exhale, bring the foot forward, plant it between your hands and drop that back knee down to the floor. Take your time to wriggle. It's the other side now. So how's that feeling? And we'll keep the right hand down on the floor as we reach the left hand up. And take some breaths. And again, it can be very different from one side to the other. See if whilst you're there with your hand up, can your hips gravitate towards that front heel a bit more? Where is the tightness if you're finding it tight? And where's the breath taking you? Hands back down to the floor. Left hand stays down, right hand rises. Both hands down to the floor. Hips come forward just a little bit further. Ooh, as she wobbles, inhale, arms come up. Interlink fingers to the back of the head. Elbows out wide. Ribcage floats higher. And lift the gaze as you lean your head back into the palms of your hand. And breathe a deep breath here. Inhale as the arms lift. Exhale as the hands come to the floor. And glide your sitting bones back for a runner's stretch. Maybe the ribcage is going to move. A lift as you inhale, a fold as you exhale. Coming forwards. Once more, hands either side of that front foot. Lift the back knee and step your feet together. Inhale as you half lift, exhale as you fold. Let's fold our elbows again and dangle. Even just that 15 minutes of stretching feels hugely different inside my body. I wonder if it does inside yours. Okay, soften the knees, inhale as you come all the way up. And we'll do the other side, but we'll do it slightly differently. So fold as you exhale. Inhale as you lift. Exhale, let's step the left foot back, but we're not going to drop the knee. We'll keep up in the lunge. So keep the hands on the floor, drop the hips low, have a wriggle. Left hand stays down, right hand rises. Take a couple of breaths. Can you drop the hips lower? What happens if you bend that top elbow, bring the hand to the back of your head, and once again lean your head into the hand? If that feels awkward, then don't do it, but if it feels like it's a helpful stretch, do. Return that hand up high. Bring both hands down to the floor. Wriggling again. And now the right hand stays down, the left hand rises. Listen to your breath. Let it steer the way that you move. Perhaps you can bend that top elbow again, bring your hand to the back of your head, unless that feels awkward. I think it's quite unique. You don't want to be yanking your neck, that's for sure. But for me, it just gets me right into that intercostal space between the ribs. And then returning the hand up high. Bringing both hands down to the floor. Inhale as both arms come up. Reaching the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, take your hands behind your back, interlink fingers. Inhale, press the hands away and lift the gaze. Take some breaths. The inhale usually feels really quite fabulous here. Release the hands, taking them down to the floor. I'm going to bring that back foot a little closer. Front leg's really tired actually. As you inhale, you're going to bend that front knee looking ahead, and as you exhale, you're going to straighten the front leg, bringing the chin towards your chest. So moving backwards and forwards between a lunge and a pyramid. Let's do one more time. And then we'll bend that back knee coming down, and we can add a little twist. So inhale, take your arms up. Bring your hands to your heart. Left elbow comes across. Palms press. Right elbow lifts and rotate. For those of you feeling more dynamic than me today, by all means push that back heel away, lift the knee up off the floor. Inhale as your arms rise. Exhale, hands to the floor. We step back into your plank. Pause in your plank. Take a moment. Option to take chaturanga or drop your knees. Inhale as you come up into an up face dog or a cobra. Exhale as you come back into a down face dog. Explore your down face dog. Interoception, the ability to understand what's happening inside your body, or rather the ability to feel. It's what tells you when you're hungry, when you're thirsty, when you need to sleep. This communication, this inwards communication, super important and not an assumed given. Many of us are severed from that communication. Left foot lifts, bend the left knee, swivel the hips. Inhaling back to three-legged down dog. And exhaling that left foot forwards. Let's drop that back knee and we'll come straight into the rotation. So inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Right elbow comes across. Come into the rotation. By all means, lift the back knee if you want to take it a little bit. Turn the volume up a little bit. How is your breath here? Inhale, both arms come up. Exhale, hands to the floor. And now we lift that back knee up off the floor. So we're in the lunge. Right hand stays down. Left hand rises. Option to bend the top elbow. See how that feels. If you feel good pushing your head into your hand, then do. Otherwise, keep the hand straight up. And then explore the position of your hips. It's possible that they can sink a little lower here. Inhale, that hand comes high. Exhale, hands to the floor. Switching sides, so left hand stays down, right hand rises. Maybe the elbow bends, maybe it doesn't. Both hands down to the floor as you stabilize yourself. Inhale as your arms lift. Exhale as you take your hands behind your back, interlink your fingers, press your palms away. Lifting your gaze. Okay, releasing the hands down to the floor. And we move between a lunge, so bending that front knee, getting the hips low, looking forwards as you inhale, and then coming into pyramid as you exhale. Front leg straightens, back heel drops closer to the floor. Moving like that to the current of your in-breath and your out-breath. As you look forwards, step your feet together. Half lift and exhale, fold.